Hey everybody, welcome back to the House of Plenty Studio Kitchen in downtown Hamilton, Alabama. Today we're going to be working on 3 recipes in this one video. We're going to do black-eyed peas, collard greens, and cornbread. Black-eyed peas symbolize good luck for your next year, but the luck will only stick, it's said, if you eat it with greens, which symbolizes money. So we're doing collard greens today. You can eat your black-eyed peas with cabbage or turnip greens, but we're gonna start with our greens because they take the longest to cook. So I've got a bunch of collard greens here, and I'm gonna show you how to trim and clean them. I just cut the butt of the stem off and start here at the top, and we'll rip the greens off of the stems just like this. And collard greens can be really, really gritty, have a lot of dirt and sand in them. So we're gonna be sure to wash our greens. I like to triple wash my collard greens. I like to fill a kitchen sink, clean it out really good and scrub it down, and fill your kitchen sink with some cold water. And you can put your chopped collards into the kitchen sink and agitate them really well. Pull them out into a bowl, drain your sink, clean it, and do it a second time just to make sure that all that grit is gone. So after I pull the greens off the stems, I just give them a rough chop here. And now we're gonna go to our sink. We're gonna wash all of our greens and meet you right back here. There's no exact recipe to these collard greens. I'm just gonna talk about the method and what I use. I've got about 6 pieces of bacon here that I've chopped up. You don't have to wait till the bacon is fully cooked and crispy. You just wanna get some of the fat rendered down here in the bottom of your pot, adding just a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. I've got 1 yellow onion diced. Our bacon has rendered its fat and the onions are nice and translucent. So we're gonna start adding our collard greens, a few handfuls at a time. But as they cook down, you'll be able to fit just about all of these greens in a nice sized Dutch oven. Just a little bit of water, not too much, because they're gonna release a lot of water out of their leaves on their own. And of course, salt and pepper. Now for the good luck, the black-eyed peas. I've got 2 different varieties of black-eyed peas here. You can buy the dried bean like this in the store. And what you would do the night before you wanted to cook it, you would bring this to a boil in a pot of water, and then just as soon as it comes to a boil, turn the water off and let that sit and soak overnight. Then you're gonna drain that water off in the morning, and then you would start with these beans from fresh. Or you could look in the freezer section of your grocery store and find like a pick sweet variety. These were picked and then frozen, and they haven't been dried. And that's what we're gonna use today. All right, in the bottom of our Dutch oven here, we've got it on a medium heat. And I've got 6 slices of bacon that we have cut in half. And the bacon here, you don't wanna cook it all the way either. You just wanna get some of that fat rendered. So you've got a little bit of fat moving around in the bottom of the pot. I've got 1 onion that we've just peeled and cut in half, and just put them right in there on the bottom to start to cook and caramelize that cut edge of the onion. A couple cloves of garlic. All right, our onions have caramelized on that cut side, and you can see we're getting a lot of browning on the bottom of our pot. So we're just gonna slowly add a little water here. And we wanna kind of deglaze the bottom of that pot, get all those little browned bits up. That's where we're developing all the flavor. And we don't wanna lose that flavor, and we don't want it to scorch. We've got 2 28-ounce bags of Pick Sweet black-eyed peas. Season with some pepper, but I don't want to add any salt yet because we're going to do a few tablespoons of chicken bouillon, and so we'll adjust for salt later. And then now we're just going to cover these with water and let them simmer for about 60 to 90 minutes until they're done. Meanwhile, the first batch of collards that we put in there have wilted down, so we're going to come in and add some more. We're gonna add about 1/3 of a cup to 1/2 of a cup of white vinegar. This is gonna add a lot of flavor and help tenderize our greens. And then a few tablespoons, maybe up to 1/3 of a cup of sugar. There's not a whole lot of liquid down here in the bottom yet, so I'm gonna add just a little more water, maybe another cup, to get them simmering. Now that our black-eyed peas have come to a boil, we're going to reduce the heat to a low simmer, and we're going to let those cook for 60 to 90 minutes until they're tender. And we'll cover those too. We're going to add this baking soda, a teaspoon or two. It will react to the vinegar, so there'll be some bubbling up. But legend has it from all the old folks who still make collard greens that a little bit of baking soda helps with the color, helps them stay green instead of turning like a gray color, and also helps with the gas. So now we've got everything in here that we need. We're just going to turn this down to low and put the lid on it, let it simmer for 30 minutes or so until all of our greens are tender. You're going to want to come back every few minutes and make sure you stir it up, make sure they're not burning in the bottom of your pot. So now we're going to move on to our cornbread that we're going to serve with our collard greens and our black-eyed peas. And I like to cheat a little bit and use Jiffy. There are a lot of strong opinions about using Jiffy for cornbread versus starting with cornmeal, but I like a moist and flavorful cornbread instead of a super dry and crunchy cornbread, so we're using Jiffy in this recipe. We've got 2 boxes of Jiffy corn muffin mix that we'll add, and then we've got 2 eggs. We've got 1 can of creamed corn, 2/3 cup of milk, and about a cup of sour cream. We're going to mix that together until fully incorporated. All right, a few secrets that I do to my cornbread is I like a sweet and a spicy, so I'm going to add about a tablespoon of sriracha. You could use your favorite hot sauce like Texas Pete or Louisiana, or you could do a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. The last thing to do is add a little bit of brown sugar, but we're going to do that in just a minute. I'm going to show you how. We're going to take our vegetable oil and our brown sugar and our cornbread mix, and we're going to head to the stove. For our cornbread, we've got a large cast iron pan here that we have on medium to medium high heat. We're going to add a few tablespoons, maybe even 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. And what we're going to do is we're going to get that super hot and pour our batter into that hot oil to kind of fry the edges to get a nice crispy golden crust around. All right, our oil is nice and hot, so we're going to come and spoon our batter into the cast iron. And then we'll finish the cornbread in the oven. And now we're going to take some brown sugar, not too much, and just sprinkle it over the top here. You're going to know when your cornbread is ready to go to the oven when you can take a spatula or a spoon along the edge and you can pull the cornbread away from the edge and the batter isn't running anymore to fill in the spot. Then that's ready to go into the 350-degree oven for 20 to 30 minutes until it's done. All right, our cornbread is out of the oven. We've got our collard greens and our black-eyed peas. Now it's time to slice the cornbread, plate all of this up, and tuck in. I don't know if you can hear that nice crispy crust. All right, and we've got our collard greens that have been simmering in that delicious pot liquor that we made. And then the star of the show, our black-eyed peas. Now, who doesn't want to eat that on New Year's Day? Now all we've got to do is try it. Cornbread has that bit of a crispy and sweet top from the brown sugar. It's definitely got a hit of spice from the hot sauce that we put in it. And our black-eyed peas. These are for sure going to bring us good luck. And then one of my favorite vegetables are the collard greens. Just delicious. You got a lot of flavor from the bacon and smoke from the bacon, a little bit of onion, the vinegar and the sugar, it all complements each other. We've got the cornbread, the collard greens, and the black-eyed peas. This is a great way to start off your new year or just any day. I mean, I would eat this just because. So I want to thank you guys for joining us today at the House of Plenty Studio Kitchen as we cook up some pots of luck for the next year. Won't you like this video if you enjoyed the content, and comment below and let us know when you made it, and tag us in your pictures on Instagram. Come back and see us soon at the House of Plenty Studio Kitchen, where we'll be cooking something else up for you.